track, yeah. track, yeah.
What is there to fear? I'm from Black America, it's just another year. You knew the disrespect by your elected puppeteers, but let me show you how to.
Yo, what's going on Facebook? YouTube, what's good? IG, what's good? If you're wondering who we're listening to, this is Terrence Martin featuring Brandee Younger, and this is their rendition of Damage. Created by her. Really dope. Let me check my other scene real quick. Okay, you need to move in just a little bit more so they can see you on my other scene. Hey, what's up, y'all? Scene 1. This is scene 2. Scene 1. Let's go. Yeah. All that hard work on these audio streets is playing off. Once again, it's the nitty gritty, baby. We're talking about living your truth tonight. So I'm gonna let this Damage play a little bit more. Hey, drop a bomb real quick. Make sure all my sounds is up. Hey. What's good? I can't, somebody just joined over there on IG. What's up, IG? I see you. If you're in the building, go ahead and type in your area code of your city so we can shout you out real quick. Yeah, we back. Yo, what's up, y'all? My video just paused.
I'm trying to, what am I supposed to push?
Right, you need to go to your personal.
I am on my personal.
You weren't. That's why I paused. My bad, y'all. Sorry, technical difficulties.
It said finish. So start it again.
Yeah. I'll give you a second to get that started again. Let me refresh my chat. So anyways, y'all, we got a cool show for y'all lined up. We was out last week. It was Memorial Day weekend. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Pretty good weekend, I hope, for everyone. It was a bittersweet weekend last weekend for me. I guess you could say the same thing for this weekend as well. Of course, me and Kat had our second wedding / reception and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. That was a good time. That was a really good time. But unfortunately, shout out to my aunt, Angela Renee DaCosta. She passed away last weekend. Her funeral was yesterday.
Condolences to the DaCostas.
Yeah, and the Monroes and the Rosses and all the family that's down there still in South Carolina. May she rest in peace. I know she's no longer in pain, so that's what matters most. So that's good. Also, our business shout out for the week this week. Want to shout out my man Paul Thompson and Church Road Smokehouse. You can find them on IG at Church Road Smokehouse. Go, get yourself some barbecue. It's the summertime. People gonna be eating and barbecuing and doing the thing. So check that out. They got some good food on there. Y'all need to go holler at them, for real. Like, their stuff is solid.
Hi, First Lady Moore. I see you joined the live.
Hey. Happy to be here. So today, we're going to talk about living your truth. But before we get there, you know how we always start. It's your boy, Jay DaCosta.
And it is your girl, Katniss.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. So yeah, we're going to talk a little about living your truth and what does that mean? Like, no one really breaks that down. What does that actually mean? Manny, I see you in the building. Shout out Clarksville, Tennessee. Let me get you in the other view. I want to get a close-up look at you. I got to play with my angles. I see you, girl. I see you. Yeah, that's a little close-up view right there. You can see the nose hairs and stuff when I put it in like that. So yeah, let's get into some current news real quick. I know I got a lot of investors. I got a lot of junior investors. I got a lot of people that became stock market brokers overnight with Bitcoin and everything else. And then for all those folks that invested in NFTs, hopefully didn't throw too much money in one basket, right? That's why they say diversify. Yeah. You got to spread the money around. The NFT market burst. If you guys don't know what NFTs are, that's it was like digital art. So it's like if you had a picture or a screenshot of your first text, you own that NFT and you can resell it. And people were reselling these NFTs for like millions of dollars. Like this digital art. I never quite understood it, and I guess the market didn't either, so it did burst recently. So a lot of people lost money. Seemed like that thing crashed. I don't know if it's going to be a thing that ever comes back, because I feel like art should be still something, I don't know, more so tangible in that regard. But we'll see how it goes. Other current news, Trump was banned from Facebook for the next 2 years. I thought that was kind of lame, though, because you ban him for 2 years, but that means he gets to come back just in time for the next election cycle. So what really did that solve? You get what I'm saying? So I'm not too impressed with Facebook banning him for 2 years, because if you wanted to impress me, ban him until 2025, so he missed the whole election cycle. So whatever poison, whatever bullcrap he was going to spew, you cut him off from even having the platform to do that. But you didn't do that, so I wonder, how serious are you guys really about banning him from doing any kind of damage with the stuff that he does? Shout out Jen in the building. Drop a bomb for you. You probably can't hear it, but my Facebook and my YouTube folks did. Also, current news. LeBron and the Lakers were defeated by the Suns. Yeah, I know there were other teams that got defeated as well, but I'm a LeBron fan, and there's been a lot of LeBron hate. Even on my personal page, people was arguing back and forth with me. I got a platform, so I get to run my mouth just a little bit more, and I'm about to right now. Look, y'all, at the end of the day, LeBron's great. You can't name that one legend that was still doing this thing after his mid-30s. Not leading a team, carrying him on his back, as my post stated. So, at the end of the day, he was a legend. A lot of people want to compare him to Jordan. Jordan got his last ring at 35. LeBron's still playing. We don't know if he's going to get another ring or not. but he was 35 last year when he got that one. So with that said, let's see where history takes us. You know, I mean, we never know, but LeBron, he's amazing. I think that's why people hold him to a high standard, because they're surprised to even see him playing so well. He's still leading a team, but he shouldn't have to be. Really, Anthony Davis should be leading that team. And in other news, where some of you may be at already, you may be watching this on the back end, but of course I think Logan Paul. Did I say the right Paul? Yeah, I think it's Logan Paul and or it's Jake Paul. It's one of the Pauls, one of those YouTube brothers. But one of them is fighting Floyd Mayweather tonight, so that should be entertaining.
Yeah, that's weird.
Is it? Yeah, I mean, but you know, it's an exhibition fight. Floyd about to get paid. It's not going to hurt his record. Shoot, I'll do it. Easy money. I don't think that Bama going to put too much hurt on him. So we'll see what happens. Should be interesting. I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing after this is over. That fight probably won't actually come on to like 11 or so. I think I'm going to get up and I think I'm going to probably try to stay up and watch it. We'll see. But you know, folks got to work in the morning. So anyways, let's get down to the grit of what we're talking about. So let's talk about this thing, living your truth. Right? You know, you hear a lot of people, you know, like, oh man, you know, that's just my truth, man. That's just my reality. You know, there's this individualized version of life, right? Everybody wants to experience life and understand life from their point of view. And so we gotta really talk about this living your truth. Like, how tangible, how realistic, is this a healthier way to live? Maybe, you know, the other generations had it wrong. You know, maybe life is better when you live your truth. We're going to break it down. But before we go into living your truth, because I don't want to play semantics about words, y'all, we want to make this clear. So let's talk a little bit about what the definition of truth. So truth, the quality, it's a noun, first of all, but truth, the quality or state of being true. That which is true or in accordance with fact or reality, or a fact or belief that is accepted as true. Now, those are all definitions of truth, but if you notice, each variation of the definition had the word true in it. So I was like, once again, don't want to play semantics with your folks and you in word games, right? So let's break down what true is. True is an adjective, meaning real or actual, in accordance with fact or reality, accurate or exact, honest, loyal, or faithful, right? So these are some definitions of truth and true. So let's break it down. I want to hear from you first, Kat, and then I want everybody else to kind of type in the description. Let us know how you feel. But can everyone live their truth?
Can everyone live their truth? I think the answer is yes and no. First thing I would say is I think when people say they're living their truth, I think most times living your truth usually is rooted in some type of experience that you've had that causes you to live in this manner. So I think when you're on your own personal time, I think you can live your truth. I think unfortunately, because of the way our society is set up, I think it's very hard to live your truth in the corporate world, right? They always say keep religion, keep politics, keep that at home. So if your truth is that you are alt-right person or a terrorist, you can't just come up into work and live your truth. You got to keep that covert. So I think it depends upon where you're at. Or
be sometimes even in civil rights, right? You know, can people really live their whole truth at work?
No, they cannot. You have to be a shell at work. If you want to keep your job. That's why if you know that you are very passionate about certain things, you probably should have your own business. Okay.
I'll be curious to hear from anyone else. Let me know. Do you feel like everyone can live
Hi,
their truth?
Chris. And I didn't say hi to JT Health. Hey, Christopher McKinney in the building.
Yo, Chris, what's good, brother? What's good? So then the next question I gotta ask everybody is this a way for people to dodge accountability? At what point can people be honest with reality? So, cause, you know, I'll talk to some brothers every now and then, and you'll talk about they'll talk about they need some money, or hey, I need to pay this, I need to pay that, and then you ask them, well, what are you doing as far as a job, yada yada yada, and then it's always well, I can't do that kind of job, man. I ain't gonna be no laborer. But how about the military? You don't have a felony, you never been in no trouble. You need benefits. You got kids to take care of. Hey man, why don't you join the army? Oh man, that's against what I believe in, man. That ain't my truth, man. I just don't feel. A lot of feelings in the explanation, but then it's kind of like at some point you can feel however you want to, but then you got to still ask people like, okay, well, at what point are you going to take care of your responsibilities? Now you're telling me there's no jobs in the town you live in, right? You have maybe some far-fetched dream of being a rapper, but your lyrics aren't that good. You haven't got a hold of any good beats. You get what I'm saying? So I like what Herman put out there. He said, great question, what is truth? So then I want to know, like, well, what is the truth then? What's the truth of how you're going to live? Who's going to take care of you? Are you going to continue to live at home with your parents?
Well, can you give some examples of when people have responded to you by saying that they are living their truth? Give us some examples.
All right, I give you one example. For instance, right? I've you talk about people, that are overweight, right? Let's say if it's like a close family member or something like that, you try to give them some advice on their health or whatever, or friends, and you be like, well, that. Just for me, I feel like for me, but like, no, but according to science, according to the doctors, according to physicians and health professionals, they're saying you need to get out and walk. They're saying you need to put down the fork. They're saying it's as simple as lift some weights. But then people want to like redefine and create alternate realities. And it's kind of like, okay, you're going to live your truth, but the truth of the matter is this. If you don't do X, Y, Z, you could possibly end up in a grave. You keep smoking them cigarettes, and yeah, I understand that's what you do, and you don't want no judgment. Okay, that's fine. But what's going to be the end result? And I think it's interesting when we have this conversation, because it's like, at what point are we going to hold people accountable? So I want to kind of break into a little piece of discussion as far as this example. I want to talk about this thing that recently came up with Monique.
Okay.
Tell people what happened with that, for those that may not know.
So I'll fill you guys in. So Monique got on live and basically was saying that she was disheartened to see when she was traveling at the airport in Atlanta, there were so many black women who were in the airport with bonnets on their head and house shoes and pajamas. And she was like, I get that you're getting ready to go on the plane, but where is the pride? Where is the, I'm going to, look presentable when I leave my house? Why does everybody look like they still rolling out of bed? And everybody basically said Monique had no right to talk about bonnets. Women should be able to wear bonnets. A bonnet helps protect her hair. So here's my stance on the whole bonnet thing. I do wear a bonnet from time to time when I go to bed because it is a great way to keep your hair preserved. But I refuse to wear a bonnet out in public. That is my stance. Now, for other black women that want to wear bonnets out in public, if that's what you want to do, go for it. However, I feel like if you are single and you are open to the idea of marriage, I feel like at every time that you're out and you're leaving your house, you need to look your best. And I don't feel like a bonnet is going to represent you in that way. So that's my opinion.
And I know for all the ladies jumping up in here or watching this after the fact, you're like, well, yeah, it's such a high standard towards women. What about the men? Well, you know what? I went live, I think, on my personal page. I meant to go on the Nitty Gritty page. But I said it. I stand in solidarity with thinking it's tacky, right? And guys shouldn't be running around here with do-rags out on the, the way I was raised, my father wore a do-rag, but he always wore it in the house. Once he left the house, there was no do-rag on his head, right? That was something that you at max slept in, but then when you step out the house, you don't have it. And let's be honest, some of y'all look crazy with that line crease on y'all head because y'all be wearing that joint too tight. You know what I'm saying? But it looks crazy. You shouldn't run around with no do-rag on your head. I'm sorry. Because that's not a public item to wear. Now, don't get me wrong for the ladies. I know there's a difference between a headscarf or certain types of headdresses, right? There are certain types of beanies that may look similar, but the fabric is set up in such a way to where it's for outside use. But come on. The typical bonnet. And it's funny that the ladies got upset about the bonnet thing because You know, there's so many people like, oh yeah, you know, Monique wrong, she wrong. But y'all weren't saying this when Derrick Jackson got caught cheating and he went on live with his wife wearing a bonnet. Y'all was like, oh no, like she look a hot mess. Y'all wouldn't let that one go. They jumped all over her. They're like, oh my God, no. How's she gonna be on live? Mind you, she's in her home. But they was like, how's she gonna be on live with the public to see with no bra on and a bonnet?
Well, I think
black women especially went in on it.
I think the question is for everybody: when you leave your home, is there a standard for what is presentable outside? Now, granted, I don't think that the standard should be something crazy like, oh, you need to have on lashes, makeup, weave. No, but I do think that you should at least brush your teeth. You should at least have your hair somewhat decent, and you should have on clean clothes and have washed yourself. I think that is a realistic and respectable standard because you're going to be in the space of other people. I don't think you should walk around with people funky with your teeth not brushed, and I definitely feel like you shouldn't roll out of bed. Now, I know in college it was acceptable to wear pajamas to class, but now looking back on it, maybe that wasn't a great standard.
No, it wasn't. Think about it. And that's why I wanted to start off with the physical stuff first, right? So, and this is how it ties into the whole living the truth, because when you tell people about it, like, that's just my way of expressing myself. My clothes is what I wear. I shouldn't be judged on how I look. You shouldn't be worried about what I got on, this. Okay, be that as it may, but everybody knows when you dress a certain kind of way, you get a certain kind of response.
That's true.
And that's a truth that you can't get away from.
That's true. And
this goes back down to the Bible, or even if you look through history. You could go to Egypt right now and go to those to those libraries, and you could go see the Sphinx, and you could go see the pyramids. And there were certain ways, but even in the art, in the sculptures, the fact if somebody is wearing sandals, if their face is this way, if their hands are connected, images are very important, right? Because images tell people things about yourself. So, believe it or not, folks, professionalism is a thing. Katrina touched on this a little bit earlier. You can't go to work any kind of way. When you go to a job interview, you're not going to live your truth in that job interview and dress any kind of way. You're going to try to appear professional. At least at that point, you're going to fake it. See some comments about the read them. If you're going on a date, you're going to try to put, dress to impress, right?
Well, I would even, my husband does not require me to be, a glam girl. He feels like as long as I'm clean and I have my natural beauty exuding, he's happy. But for me, because I am an extension of him and a representation of him, if he tells me we're getting ready to go link for coffee or we're getting ready to go out and meet other people, I'm going to try to step it up a little bit because I want to look my best. I don't want to ever be that wife that I'm rolling up and my husband like, what are you doing? Like, What do you have on? I would never want to make him embarrassed, right? I'm an extension of him. Same thing applies to my parents. I remember as kids used to be like, oh, mom and dad don't come up to the school looking in your kind of way. Why? Because they didn't want to be embarrassed. And some moms would roll up to the school with rollers in their hair, a robe, and that stuff is meant for the home, not for public, public consumption, I guess you could say.
And while it may not be the true representation of who you are, possibly you might be the smartest person in the world, but when you come that way and you look a hot mess, automatically the teachers just assume you're hood. It may not be correct. I understand that.
That's true.
But they're going to assume you're hood, and then the care that your child gets is going to be different. But when you show up to that school, and I'm not trying to say you got to wear a whole 3-piece suit, but for men, you wear a pair of slacks or some khakis. Ladies, just a simple sundress sometimes. Even if you got your hair in like a more decorative, like wrap or something, parents just look at you a little different because they see that you care about yourself. Something that even in the military, when they're trying to decide whether or not you're depressed, right? If you have any kind of mental illness, one of the things they look at is your clothes. When your clothes don't look kept, or when they look like they're just kind of frumpy on you, if you haven't put any care in it, you don't have to have on name brand. You're gonna have to have on the freshest clothes. But it's just something about if you look like you care about your presentation. Your shirt looks like you washed it. It doesn't have stains on it. You look like maybe you ironed it, or maybe you at least like fluffed it in the dryer or something. It makes it like you care enough about your appearance. When those things start to fade, when you look like you have bad hygiene. When your clothes look dirty or soiled, right? People may assume you may be depressed. That is a real diagnosis clinically that they look for. I'm going to read some comments. Mamie said, no bonnets for her in public. Basic hygiene, yes, Katrina, she agrees with you. She also said she was raised to present herself well. When outside the house, you never know who you might encounter. And be your best look.
Well, the question is, I guess...
And I like that, Hermie. He said perception is everything.
I guess the question for me is, why were black women outraged at Monique saying... I guess Monique was saying, essentially, shame on you for wearing a bonnet and PJs in public. But black women were like, how dare Monique speak on this because you sit up here on live without no bra on. That's what people saying in a row. So who are you to try to speak to us not meeting a standard when you're on live and you're not even meeting that standard?
So I think even with that though, even if she doesn't meet the standard, the truth is the truth. See, right? Everybody can have their own perception. Everybody can live their own truth. But at the end of the day, a fact is a fact. And when you look a certain kind of way, people are going to have a perception about you, whether it's true or not. Now, we know certain perceptions you can't get away from. Like, for instance, the uncontrollable, my skin. I was born with brown skin. I'm a black man. You get what I'm saying? I can't help but be black. I can't help these pink lips I got, the way my nose look. Things like that I can't help. Now, if I'm overweight, I can control that. Because oftentimes the perception of someone who's overweight is that you're lazy. Now, I'm not trying to say that all overweight people are lazy, but that is the perception. That's why people like Chris Christie had a hard time running for government, for president, because he was an overweight governor. There's a reason why Larry Hogan, right here in Maryland, has been trying to lose weight, because everybody knows he's trying to position himself to be president. And the truth of the matter is, if you look across the Fortune 500, and you look at all the CEOs and all the VPs, everybody sitting at the top spot, they all look a certain kind of way. Outside of skin tone, we know a lot of them are white, but even outside of skin tone, whether they're Indian, Chinese, male, female, black, whatever, they all have a certain type of look. Because there's a certain type of look that is acceptable, right? Now, we need to get rid of color bias because we know that's something you can't change. But yeah, men, you should, try to keep your hair a certain kind of way. Ladies should try to dress themselves a certain kind of way. And I understand that people don't like it. But in every professional job out there, there's a code of contact.
Hey, Aaron.
A code of conduct as to how someone should look and as to how someone should act. And when you're living your truth, yeah, it might be your truth. Yeah, I like to get lit. I get drunk. I party. You do that at a corporate function if you want to. You'll be fired.
But so when we're saying dress to impress, I do think that there are some people that take that and they create a standard that I think is unrealistic. I know some people dress to impress means labels. It means being fly 24/7, nails done, hair done. And if you don't meet that standard, forget it if you're tired. Forget it if you are trying to focus on your fitness goals. So maybe your hair is a little disheveled that day. It's like, can't sit here. Can't sit with me because you ain't all the way put on 24/7.
And that's true. I like what Herman said. He said successful people do look healthy. I like that term. That they look flashy or they're dressed to impress necessarily all the time, but they do look healthy. And I think that's important. To deal with what you're doing. Now, when everything, there's going to be extremes, right? Now, the anecdotal or the extreme doesn't disprove the truth, which is there's still an acceptable way as to how one should dress if you're looking for a certain status in life, right? If you know that you want to move up at the job, if you know you don't want certain people perceiving you to be the hood or over-sexualized and all that, there's a way you can dress that can dead a lot of that immediately. But if you decide to carry on that way, you kind of have to deal with the consequences of the choices you make, of the truth you decide that you want to live in. I think that, when people talk about living the truth, once again, I understand everybody has their own perception. Everybody has their own way of how they want to decipher and perceive reality. But at the end of the day, some things we can't get away from. If I jump up, I don't hang in the air. I don't float. I don't fly. I come back down. Now, I may feel like I can jump as high as LeBron, but at the end of the day, what comes up must come down in the reality of this earth we live in. Call it gravity, call it whatever it is.
Aaron says, y'all looking good tonight. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
And JT Health said facts 100%. So, I mean, I do think that being healthy, being fit, you're going to feel good about yourself. And I think that when you feel good about yourself, you're going to exude confidence. And I also feel like being fit, you're going to fit clothes differently. I think the older you get, the harder it becomes. Mm-hmm. We're realizing that it becomes harder. I don't know what the standard is for everybody, right? Because everybody has a different standard and everybody has a different truth. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about tonight, living your truth. But I do feel that the perception of black people is already negative. So why feed into those stereotypes? Why not go the extra mile to debunk stereotypes? So if I'm going to the airport, even if I'm half asleep, I'm just not gonna wear a bonnet on my head. I'm sorry. But if you wear a bonnet, that's on you, sis. I get it. I'm not gonna judge you either. I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to potentially run into someone in my industry and they perceive me as hood, ghetto, someone who is unworthy to be in the industry. Or I don't want to be in a situation where, a lot of us talking about we want to be in entertainment. We just need that one shot. I don't want to see Jermaine Dupri and Juan say, my girl can sing, bust a song, and I'm looking like Usha John. I want to be able to look like something where he can be like, you talented, and I can see the look. I don't want him to be like, nah, I'm good because I don't have that look. Sometimes you only get one shot, and first impressions are everything. So I want to be in a position where if the opportunity ever comes to me, I don't blow it.
Absolutely. And I think we have to keep that in mind. We can't get so caught up in this whole, how I feel and my personal take that we lose the mark. I'm going to read this other comment before I go to this next point I wanted to make about this. Herman said, when I was young, to be cool, hip, popular, you had to dress a certain way. Usually that was wearing brand name clothes. For some kids, there was real pressure keeping up with their peers, which is a real thing. And I understand that too, right? And that's the balance of it all. Should we put pressure on people to wear name brand clothes and to wear all the cool jewelry and the cool shades? No. There shouldn't be pressure on people to be exceptional per se. But at the same time, there should be a standard of just what's the base, right? And basically, we know we can't go out in no pajamas and expect to apply for a job on the fly. We know we can't be running around here with 3 different shades of hair color and then expect to sit in the boardroom, right? It's one thing if that's how the hair naturally grows in your head, right? But it's another thing when you choose to make it pink, yellow, and orange, and then I want to go do something in the professional world. And if you want to ask if it's truly acceptable, think about how you would judge somebody who was about to sell you insurance. Think about how you would judge somebody who's about to operate on your body. Think about how you would look at somebody who's going to represent you in court. Now, I know a lot of people be like, man, the judge shouldn't judge me by how I look. Are you going to hire a lawyer that's showing up in sweats? That with holes in them?
You would look at that lawyer like they were crazy.
You was not about to hire a lawyer that will show up to your court case in a suit.
You would think that, to your point, you would think that he was lazy and that he was disheveled or aloof or basically anything other than pristine.
And for the ladies, same equivalent. You don't want that joker wearing a do-rag to the court case, right? Just like, would you really want your lawyer, if she's a woman, showing up with a bonnet on her head and some pajamas? She might have graduated first in her class in Harvard. But do you want her showing up to the courtroom looking like that? Do you? Would you? And because don't argue with me about, well, she could be the best lawyer ever and this. No. Would you hire her? Your life is on the line. They are framing you. They're talking about you're going to spend 30 years in jail if you don't win this court case.
Well,
you about to owe millions of dollars if you don't win this case. Are you literally hiring someone who's going to show up wearing a bonnet and some pajamas? Would you hire that individual? Ain't nobody watching this show who may watch this show later going to tell me you're hiring individuals that look like that.
Well, Herman said some of my friends were not as affluent as others, so that peer pressure can stigmatize kids, and I do believe that's true. I went to a high school where it was very fashion conscious. We were wearing stiletto heels in high school, walking up floor flights of steps When people came to prom, it was definitely like you doing it to shut down. Like, who can spend the most money? Let me go to Nordstrom's and buy the best dress. I need to have real Uggs. People was talking about Gucci and Juicy Couture in high school. So I do think that the standard, to keep up with celebrities is woven and threaded in our society across the board, from parents to school, like to kids. I know kids who was like, parents who were buying their kids Jordans and Burberry and all types of stuff. Like, my kid got to be the freshest and the flyest. And I don't think the standard is that. Because I feel like that can also be rooted in spending your money irresponsibly. At the end of the day, you're going to do what's best for you and your household. But I do think just looking presentable should be a standard. And I can say that as a black woman, I feel there's a lot of pressure on me to look cute all the time.
But let's talk about that though,
I
right?
There's a lot of pressure. Like, I don't feel comfortable getting on camera unless I have makeup on.
I don't know why
my hair together.
Either way.
I don't feel comfortable. I feel like Juan says that, but I feel like the moment he puts it on the YouTube, it's out in the open, and I feel like knowing that's out in the open, it opens me to get ridiculed potentially if I am not camera ready. So I don't feel comfortable. Whether in camera or even when me and him go. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on black women to look A1 24/7.
I mean, but if we get down to that falls into this whole living your truth thing still, right? And this is why I wanted to talk about that, because people really use this as an excuse to do some wild stuff. Prime example, right? You can tell me, oh, that's just how I am. I gotta stay fly. I gotta wear the latest name brand. You can tell people, oh no, that's just how I do. This is how we dress. This is how I get down. Okay. But the truth is, can you afford it? See, if you're going out here putting MAC makeup on credit cards, CoverGirl on credit cards, because you got to have your face beat every time you go to the job, right? If women especially some of my sisters, if I could just deal with y'all, you can't say in one breath, and I'm talking at the whole, you can't say in one breath, oh, you got to accept me how I am, but then you guys put more so women on women, y'all put so much pressure on each other to look a certain kind of way, right? Because you're trying to force your personal truth onto other people. And then even your truth is somewhat the perception. Once again, if we're talking about what truth is, the quality or state of being true in accordance with fact or reality, you get what I'm saying? Is it realistic? Is it something that you can maintain to live that way? Can you really afford those Burberry shoes? Can you afford that Coach bag? Can you afford to be dressed to the nines every day? Is it even practical? See, that could be just as bad as looking like you don't got no sense. Because the truth of the matter is, how are you supposed to be going in here? Like, how can you come to somebody saying, I need help, or I don't have this? Now, you dressed in Louis Vuitton head to toe, so you're giving off the impression you got some money. But then you asking me to borrow $100. I'm looking at you like I see about $500 right there that you can sell at a discount. You don't need to ask me for a darn thing. Yeah. See, that perception thing works both ways. You can't tell me, yeah, what I do is I get fly, I do this, and then when I pull up to you, now you got $5,000 worth of clothes on your back, and then meanwhile you renting a shack. Priorities are messed up. I can't then go into your house. You don't got nan cup for me to use. No furniture to sit on. Some of you guys, y'all have on all these chains. Y'all look fly. Y'all want to take a young lady back home to your house, and your bed is not. Your mattress is sitting dead on the floor. There's something jaded about your truth. You not balling like you claim you are. And it's time that people get realistic about where they stand in life.
Well, because I know that weight is a sensitive topic for black women as well as dating, and there's, a lot of black women feel their truth is, well, there ain't that many quality black men out here, or black men ain't trying to, wife nobody down, or
I like what Herman said, peacock.
They're not, and then black men, their truth is, well, these women out here just having hot girl summer, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to be loyal. They trying to go with the man that has the most money. They're not trying to really deal with a man and come up with him or whatever. And these might be true themes, but I don't think they're true for everybody that you encounter. I think that you are who you attract. So when we say we're living our truth, I think that for some people they say that as a defense mechanism.
Basically, I say that I think people really try to use it as a way to be lazy or not to engage in the things they need to do. Prime example, this participation trophy mindset, right? Here's the thing. Everybody can't win. But a few years ago, about 10, 15 years ago, they started giving out participation trophies because little Johnny and little Jimmy felt bad when they didn't get a trophy, right? And we want everybody to feel good about being mediocre. We don't want no one to feel left out. So instead, we want to rub your back and tell you, oh, it's okay that you lost. Yeah, that other team, I think everybody starts making excuses. But losing is good for some people, right? Some of your best athletes in the world have to deal with failure and adversity. Losing doesn't equal failure. But because we don't want people to feel bad about losing, well, I feel like everybody is beautiful. No, everybody ain't beautiful. Not everybody is fine. Oh, not every man you see is handsome. I know your grandma and your mama gonna say, oh, my son's handsome. But the truth of the matter is, society don't think that. They ain't running around here as no models. And it's okay to be real. It's okay to say, no, you lost because the other team was better. And you know what happens? People like Michael Jordan, after losing championships and after getting kicked off their basketball team, they work on their left-hand dribble. They work on their mid-range jump shot. And they come out to be the GOAT. Greatest to ever do something because they had to embrace failure. Failure is a good thing. When you realize you're not the best at everything, when your self-actualization is based off fact or reality, you can be honest about where you stand and then you can do something about it. But if everybody wants to feel good about their current situation, how do you push the mark forward? You can't. You simply can't. And that's why people are losing their minds out here trying to keep up with the Joneses. But you can't keep up because the reality is you don't got Mercedes-Benz money. You barely got Nissan Altima money.
Uh-oh.
Shoot, half y'all don't got car money. You need to try to find a way to get a little bike or something. Especially for y'all living in the city. You don't need no car. But nobody wants to feel left out. Nobody wants to lose.
They don't want to feel rejection.
Yeah, like, I mean, some of you ladies out there, maybe you could stand not to eat a burger or two. Some of you fellas out there, maybe you could stand to jump rope a little bit. You are overweight. And it's okay. It's okay to be overweight. It's okay to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I am fat. I need to do something about it. I had whole titties 2 years ago.
I said you be telling me to be quiet.
Huh? No, it's one thing. It's one thing to just moan and whatever, groan about it. Let's not do all that. But it's another thing to just say, okay, here's where I stand. All right, you know what? I need to do some push-ups. I need to push away from the table and do something about it. It's not so that you will feel depressed, and it's not to stay in this position of, oh, woe is me. The idea is for you to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I need to make this change. Let me go do it. If you don't got some money, it's all right. Go get a second job. If you can't afford those glasses, that's cool. Don't buy them.
Yeah.
But go work hard to pay those bills off, and then maybe you can enjoy those things. But everybody wants to say, oh, well, you know, that's not for me. I'm just living my truth. No, this is, well, how I feel. But your personal feeling doesn't get away from the fact of the life you got to live in. You don't pay your bills on time. You don't pay your rent, they're going to evict you. You don't pay back them student loans, you're going to die having to pass them loans down to your kids. I mean, these are real things. If you overweight, if you got a nasty attitude and everybody keeps dumping you, maybe you need to change the way you act. Oh, nobody wants to court me to my standard. Well, maybe something's off about your standard. But when you address these things, people get in their feelings. Because everybody's living their truth. But is your truth working for you? And it's a hard conversation, I know. Y'all going to beam me up in the comments probably later on. Y'all going to say, oh, that guy Juan's a jerk. But you got to be honest with yourself. And if your truth is void of reality, of everything going on in life, maybe you need to examine what you call your truth. Maybe it's time for you to take a hard look in the mirror and say, you know what? This truth that I claim I have ain't working. I got to ask this question. Does living your truth get you closer to the happiness you claim it brings? I'm going to say that one more time. Does living your truth get you closer to the happiness you claim it brings? And if it's not, maybe your truth has been flawed. Maybe your truth has been a lie unto yourself. And the worst person in the world to lie to is yourself.
It's yourself.
If I could add a scripture for all my Christian folks out there in the audience. John 8 verse 32 says, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
There's also the one, and you will know the truth by the fruit that it bears, right?
Yeah. Well, you would know by the love they show. You will know the truth if somebody's a Christian or not by the love they show, basically, is what that's saying.
Well, y'all,
but
it looks like we're not. We got into it.
So hold on, let me read a comment. Herman said, get your personal feelings out of the equation. People need to take a hard look at themselves. Yes, Juan, agree with you, son. I appreciate that, Pop. But it's true. I understand, because like I hear this in conversation so much. Like any conversation I've been in, any group of people I've been around there's always somebody saying I'm living my truth. Oh man, this is just the way I live, man. It's just my feeling. Well, no, this is just how I do things. But is it really working for you?
Is it really working for
you? It
is
not. And that's why I wanted to bring it to the Nitty Gritty show. There's so many people making these lifestyle choices and doing things going against the grain, right? And the other thing that bothers me with it is, okay, so even if you do decide you want to live that way, and this is your truth, and this is your reality, that don't mean I got to accept it. Especially if you already know it's against the grain or it's a little off. It's not natural. Then you can't force your truth on me. Alright, you feel like you're supposed to eat dessert before dinner. Ain't no restaurant serving it that way. Sure, you can ask for it and they might accommodate you. But if you go to one of these 4-star restaurants where they have these preset meals, they gonna bring you out your soup and salad first, right? They'll bring you out your salad first, or sometimes they have like a charcuterie depending on the restaurant. Then you might get salad or soup. Then they're gonna bring out your main course, and then they bring out your dessert. You go to the Melting Pot, that's a fondue restaurant. They have an order to how things are done, right? They're gonna bring out your cheese fondue. Then they're gonna bring out your salad. Then they're gonna take all those things off. Then they're gonna bring out your main course fondue, and then after that they bring out your dessert fondue. They're not gonna bring out your chocolate first. I get it. Your personal reality is I eat my chocolate first, and then I eat my stuff last. I eat it in reverse because that's just what I do. Ain't no science to back it up. You just say that's what you do, right? But guess what? You're not going to the Melting Pot, a whole business that is nationwide, and tell them, hey guys, I think you should really consider changing your format, and you should serve dessert first, because that's how I do it. Because according to my personal truth, I think you should eat dessert first. They're not doing that. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, no, honey. For years, this is how people have been eating their food in the order that they do it, and that's how we're going to keep it. We're a $1 million company, business. Been doing fondue restaurants for years. Yeah, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I understand that's how you do it. You can do that at your house. But when you come here, this is the order of how we serve these plates. Either you buying or you leaving. You decide. Right? So anyways, let's go ahead and run out to some shout outs. I think I made the room quiet enough. I like what Herman put out there, to thy own self be true. So just something to think about, because this was just something I've been thinking about all week, and like all these little pieces of society, all these little conversations, they kind of fall back to this, and we need to deal with it. We need to address what's going on in society and this so-called living your truth, because some of y'all living your truth, but your truth ain't working. So if next year you still single, if next year you still in debt or in more debt, then you need to reevaluate your truth. Plain and simple. let me lock in as we go into these shout outs. What's up, y'all? Y'all like the close up? You see how we did that right there? Switched it up. Let me play some D Smoke real quick. This is a dope song he got out. This is a new song by D Smoke called Kinfold featuring Nephew Ric. It's a single. Pretty dope. I like it. Nice little bop. So we got a couple of shout outs. First, want to shout out once again. Rest in peace to my my aunt Angela DaCosta, 63 years old. When she passed away last weekend. Her funeral was yesterday out there in Greenville, South Carolina. Blessings to the whole family. I know some are still grieving, and I hope you guys feel better. Also want to shout out our cousin Allie. She's in town. Allie, you out here in the background. We see you. So we got cousin Allie here. Shout out to her. We've been having fun with her. Also want to thank everybody who supported me and Katrina in all of our wedding nuptials. It felt like it was going on forever because we had the event in Cozumel. Then of course we had the stateside reception in Cleveland last weekend. Thank you for everyone that traveled out there, even those that lived there, because the weather was not the greatest.
It wasn't.
It was not.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
We really appreciate you guys from coming. It was, great time. We really enjoyed ourselves. And once again, we thank you for all your support. Also, I want to shout out some birthdays. We always do birthdays here in the Nitty Gritty. So I want to shout out Keith Avery. I want to shout out Ronald Williams. I want to shout out Nita DaCosta. Shout out Janelle Wells. Shout out to my homegirl Amanda Murray. Shout out to Davita Clark. Also shout out to the cousin Anthony DaCosta. And then shout out to one of our favorite people, Grant Thompson, Pastor Grant Thompson. And shout out to his brother Greg Thompson. Their birthdays are tomorrow. So happy birthday to you guys. And then we had a wedding anniversary we want to shout out as well. Shout out to Anthony and Vicky Hayter. Their anniversary was this past Memorial Day weekend. It was actually the same day as our second reception, right? So I hope you guys had a good time. You had a chance to get some break from the kids and everything. So that was great. So we had a really good time. But once again, I want to thank you guys for supporting the Nitty Gritty Show. Don't forget, you can buy some merch that helps support us. You would go to www.squadlocker.com. And then you just put in The Nitty Gritty Show. Got to type in the whole thing. The Nitty Gritty Show. Tomorrow night, we do have the Music Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you guys there. We're going to be talking music, as we always do. That conversation varies from 20 minutes to an hour. This depends on how many come on IG Live with us. We'll be putting out another episode of the Soapbox for Wednesday. I want to say next up is I Think Is You. I got a clip from you that I'm going to put out there for everybody. So that should be fun and entertaining. And keep on supporting the show. We have a Cash App coming up soon where you guys will be able to donate directly to the Cash App. That helps us buy the Stream Deck, pay for all of these various subscriptions we have to keep this show running. I had to do my little pastor offering thing real quick. But yeah, please support the show. That's how we stay, and that's how we keep on coming to you guys with the real. Look, I hope you guys all be blessed. Enjoy your summer. Make sure you hydrate. It was warm out there today. It was 94 degrees. It felt good. I embraced it. I see people outside running and having a good time, but make sure you stay safe when you're doing it, okay? So look, we are out. It's the Nitty Gritty Show. It's your boy Jay DaCosta.
Girl Katniss.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. We out, y'all. We out. Oh, let me.